Today we're going to do a tutorial on how to draw mazes. It's a thing I did as a kid and really enjoyed. We need a few things. We need some pencils, and I need my readers because, you know, I'm getting old, won't be able to see very well. And then of course we need some paper. And then you have to have a nice maze hat when you draw mazes. So I think we've got what we need here. The best thing to do is for you to follow along. We'll go step by step, and by the time you're done watching this video, if you participate with me, you will have drawn your own maze that's pretty dang awesome. So you need to go gather your supplies. So grab a few pencils, get some blank sheets of paper, and get several sheets of paper, because we're gonna mess up, and you know, we're gonna start little and get bigger and bigger. So maybe I'll just sit here and relax while you go get the supplies. You know, it occurs to me that I don't know how long it'll take you to get some paper. You might have some already and you're sitting here waiting for me to start, or you might have to run to the store to buy some. I just don't know that. So it probably makes more sense that you pause this video and go get your supplies, and then unpause it and we'll start. Here's a good spot. Pause the video, go get your supplies, and then come back. The first thing we want to do is designate a starting point like this. All right, so there's our start. That indicates to the person who's solving the maze where to start. So we need a start spot. And then we also need a path like this, see? And to make this path, we put in these walls. I mean, so far no brainer, right? And then over here, we'll put the end. We need the goal. We need the person solving the puzzle to know where they're trying to get. What's the goal for the puzzle? So what we've got here is, I mean, a maze basically is going to be a network of paths designed as a puzzle through which one has to find a way. This right here technically meets that criteria, I think. I think that's technically a maze. However, it's not very challenging, right? This is what we call a confidence building maze. You start here and you end there. Almost anyone could solve this. Here's the main idea. We have a start point, we have an end point, we have walls that form paths, and the idea is to get from the start to the end. Again, start with our start, get that ready, make it just a little more complicated. And so we start this path like this, and then right here, what I want to do is make a T, or branches, right? So we got these branches. So now when the person who's working on the maze starts, they come to a crossroads. Do they go up or do they go down? And so what we do then is we'll drive this one along like this and just have it end. Just dead ends right there, which, by the way, is another component of a maze. Is we have branches, or a crossroads, whatever you want to call it, and we have dead ends. So we have a start point, and then let's just finish this one off. Let's just make our end point right here. So we have a start point, we have walls that form paths, we have a branch, and we have one that leads to a dead end and one that leads to the goal, the end of the maze. It's a bit more complicated than our previous one, right? You see that, but only very slightly more complicated. We just have this one branch. It's still obviously easy because you can just look at this maze in its entirety and easily tell that's the dead end and that's the way to go. Our third maze here. Again, we'll start with the start, just like this, and we'll start with our path. And then let's make a branch here. And then we can start the branch this way, and then we'll do the branch this way. And then here's something else we can do to make it even more complicated. We can build another branch just like that. And so now we've got a branch to a branch. So we've got all these paths, right? We can make this maze, like we'll just cut it in here. So we've got this path going right here. So now we have, look at this. So we've got this path, we've got this path, and we've got this path. And then maybe over here is our ending spot. What we could do here is just make this come out here and this come out here, just like that. So now we have 3 paths all in a row pointed at the end. And you can see how we can make this challenging by simply going along and like we can let's just dead end that one right there. And then let's just take this one like this and have it be the solution. And we'll make this one dead end right there. Like that. It's a little more complicated because we have more branches in place. Let's do just kind of a smaller, kind of an easier maze. Now,
drawing mazes takes time, so I've sped up the camera here so that you don't have to watch me draw so meticulously.
And now we've got 2 paths going. I've got a new twist. In my mind, we call this the almost path. It's where you almost get there. So what we want to do is work this path. Everything we do has it creeping towards the end. We want them to think, oh my goodness, I've picked the right path. This is fantastic. I am going to solve this thing. It looks intimidating. I'm going to solve it first try because I am awesome. And what we can do is, instead of having them solve it, we'll have them get really close to the end and then do a dead end. The almost path, if you do it right and you make it long and you embed it in your maze, kind of like we've done here, it'll make people want to rage quit. And as a maze artist, isn't that where we're going for? I mean, we're not trying to have them enjoy it at all. We want them to get so frustrated, they wad it up and chuck it. 2 really good points here. One is lots of turns and twists and everything. Like for instance, this branch here, it is a branch, right? When you start and you work through this lane, you get to this point, you have a choice. You can go left or you can go right. This is embedded in the maze so well that it doesn't stick out as a branch. It just, all of a sudden, this is an option, right? So what we're doing here is all these sharp and jagged turns and twists and everything to sort of camouflage the branches that we introduce into the maze. And then, of course, the other thing that we've worked on here is the almost path, the one that almost gets us to the end. So that right there, that is a little more complicated, right? This is our 4th run at this, drawing a maze. And what we've got is a nice little maze. It's not super complicated. We've got only one branch in it. We have one almost path that's gonna make somebody upset. And then we've got kind of a long and winding path that gets us to solve it. A seasoned maze solver will do is instead of starting at the start like the instructions say, they will, and cheating's not the right word, but I'm gonna say it. They'll cheat and they'll start at the end and work backwards. And when you have a whole bunch of branches and dead ends and things, if you start at the end, the right path becomes really obvious. Working from start to finish, you've got some choices to make over here. Which branch do I want to pursue? But if we start at the end and work backwards, then you can easily find the right path. There is no choice to be made. It's really easy. Let's take one last look at this fourth maze we drew. But if they start at the end and work their way backwards, then they never see the almost path and they just end up completing the maze easily. So let me show you how we mitigate that.
Drawing mazes, especially good ones, takes some real practice. Once again, I've sped up the video because you don't need to see me draw every little bit. But I wanted to show just how much work some of these longer mazes take to make.
You start building your maze at the start and you do the same thing at the end. Start at the end and start building your maze. Now right here you'll see I've introduced a branch, right? So now I got a path going this way and I got a path going this way. What doesn't make as much sense here at the end is to do an almost path. It makes sense to do it here, but over here it doesn't make as much sense to do an almost back to the start path, just because not everybody's gonna start at the end, but most everybody will start at the start. But what we do wanna do is we just wanna make a couple of paths here. And watch this, I'm gonna introduce another branch right there. Right? So now here I've got a path going this way and a path going this way and a path going this way. This becomes a little bit complicated, right? We've got a path here that we need to work with. We've got a path here we need to work with, here, here, and here. All we're trying to do here when we build up the end is to show the person who's solving it that trick isn't going to work, that it's complicated from both sides. So we don't need a lot of maze on the end. We just need enough for them to say, oh dang, no matter which way I go, this is gonna be a challenge because starting at the end is just as complicated as the start, or almost. So here we've got one dead end, right? And then let's just go ahead, I'm gonna select this path, and what I'm going to do here is going to be pretty fun, is stretch it around this way like this, and then what I want to do here is introduce another branch like that, and this one's going to dead end. I want this to be the one that solves it. This is the path I want to solve the maze. So then this one, I'm just going to build it out a little ways here like this, and then have it dead end right there. If you start at the end and you work through, it's going to be a little bit challenging. Enough that we mitigate this idea that starting at the end and working to the start makes it super easy. Let's get even more complicated. So let's start with the start. And here's how we make this more complicated. What I'm going to do is make a few options to start. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 lanes to start. So when the solver comes to do this puzzle, right from the get-go, which lane do we start with? I just start drawing one of the paths here. And what's going to be cool about this, and maybe I'll speed the video up so you don't have to watch me draw all of it, but just know that I'm going to make this path here like this. But I want this one to be kind of long and it just die. But this one here, what I want to do is take this one along and I guess I won't speed the video up. I'll just draw a shorter than I normally would path. Remember, what we're going for here is super challenging. And so I'm going to just draw this path to illustrate the point that this one is going to, we're going to go like this. And this one is just going to circle back around and connect. So what we have here, if you're paying close attention, we have 2 start lanes filled out. If you start here and you go along, you're going to come to a branch right here. And if you go this way, it dead ends. If you choose this way, it brings you back to the start. So you could, and if you make these longer, it really becomes a challenge. You could start here, do a ton of work, see a lot of the maze, and either dead end or wind up back at the start, which, speaking of rage quitting, that's a good time for somebody to get upset, to say, I can't believe that I did all this path and I ended up back at the start. One of these ones needs to be the one that solves the puzzle, right? The one, you gotta have the start, there's gotta be a path from the start to the end. You gotta do that every time. So we've got 2 of them here. And so we'll just start building off of this path here.
Here goes the real meat of drawing a maze. It takes a long time to make all these little switchbacks and dead ends and paths and branches. You've got to really, really work at it and really be patient in order to do it well.
And there you have a challenging maze. We've got the start area, we've got the ending here, we've got multiple start lanes, we've got, we worked from the end and the start. We've got an almost path, we have a looping path, we have roughly 1 million branches and dead ends through here. This would be a fun maze for somebody to work on, I think. So the question is, does drawing mazes cure my boredom? Only a little bit. This right here, it takes time, and it takes enough brain power that I forget about other things that I need to do. But it's also takes some patience. It's a little bit, it's tedious. Some of the work is tedious. The payoff for drawing a maze doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't rev my engine like catching a big fish might, or seeing a beautiful sunset from the top of a mountain. Those kinds of things maybe are a little more fun than this, but I think if it's especially rainy or hot or cold or whatever outside, and being outside isn't really an option, this is a great way to while away some of the hours. Oh, one other thing. This right here, that's also a maze. It's an easy one, but I wrote the Boredom project and then I made it into a maze. Because you can do that. It's fun.
Now you know how to draw your own mazes. You can make a YouTube video of your work and tag me in it so I can see it.